Hello and welcome to the World of Zwift, your weekly one-stop shop for everything that is Zwift. Whether you ride, you run, or maybe a little bit of both, this is the show for you. So let's see what we've got coming up this week. Matt Lieto parks his tanks on my lawn to take over 50% of the show this week and give us the lowdown on Zwift Academy. I have the honour of talking to the new 4,000 metre individual pursuit world record holder and zero racer, that is Ashton Lambie. We go fully alphabetical with A-Zwift. It's a continental carb fest in the feed zone, and as ever, Shayne Gaffney is back to fill us in on this week's workout of the week. But before we really get going, if you fancy liking this video, maybe subscribing to the channel, that would be aces. And while you do that, I'm going to give you a moment as I top up my hydration. Ha. Here are the latest goings on in and around the world of Zwift in a segment we like to call This Week in the World of Zwift. We're 1 week into the Zwift Academy Road 2021, but there is still time to sign up and get after those sprints, get after those climbs, and get after your goals. This year's edition of ZA Road features an initial baseline ride, 8 structured workouts to get you fired up to better your best on the grand finale that is the finish line ride. Keep watching to find out more about the Zwift Academy baseline ride later on in the show. Speaking of Zwift Academy, congratulations to Jay Vine, our men's 2020 Zwift Academy winner, who made some serious waves in his debut Grand Tour. The Aussie Alps in Phoenix rider ripped up the rulebooks of what you should be doing as a first-year pro, riding away in the mountains with some big names, having the audacity to try soloing to victory in the final kilometre on stage 12, and ending up third on stage 14. Following this performance, Jay has not only announced himself onto the world stage, but also signed a 2-year extension to his contract with Alpes in Phoenix. Go on, Jay. Back in December 2020, a lot of us were asking ourselves how Olympic rowing hopeful Jason Osborne managed to beat a whole heap of pro cyclists in a bike race as he took the top spot at the first ever UCI Cycling Esports World Championships on Zwift. Well, it looks like it might not be long before he lines up against some of those pro cyclists again, this time on the road. After winning a silver medal in rowing at the Tokyo Olympics this summer, Jason has just signed a contract with the Wolfpack to Koenig Quick-Step as a stagiaire until the end of the season. Now, can anyone think of another successful athlete from another sport who went on to become a successful pro cyclist? We're now into week 2 of Zwift Academy Road, and if you haven't signed up yet, there is still time to get after it, whether your goal is to crush that local climb, your first Gran Fondo, or that KOM you've been wrestling with over on Strava. This year's ZA is all about getting after your goals. And last week, Matt Lieto took over World of Zwift and gave you all the lowdown on getting started with 2021 Zwift Academy Road. But frankly, I feel he's getting a little bit too big for his boots. And if he thinks he's just going to waltz right into my show, then he...
Hello, I'm Matt Lieto, and it's week 2 of Zwift Academy. Whether you're going for that pro contract or this is your first time stepping on a bike, I will be with you every step of the way. This week, we'll be taking a deep dive into this week's workout, peak VO2 intervals. I'll be chatting to an expert from Today's Plan about how that app can improve your training by miles. We'll also check in with OJ and Erica L as they take on week 2 of Zwift Academy. We'll also hear more from Zwift Academy alumni about how they've used the power they gained and they've taken it into the real world. We're in week 2 of Zwift Academy Road, and it's all about getting your head down, finding your groove, and digging deep for the second workout, peak VO2 intervals. Looking to attack hard on the last leg of a race, chase your nemesis up that final hill, or just get after it? This workout is for you. The primary focus is on improving your aerobic capacity, and this is done by stressing your peak VO2 max early in each interval. Then we'll maintain this high level of oxygen consumption as we continue with a power level that works for your aerobic system. Remember, your VO2 max is the maximum amount of oxygen your body can use during exercise. Performing 6 reps will also improve your lactate clearance capability, aka lactate shuttling, which means your body becomes more efficient at transporting and recycling lactate to use as fuel. Contrary to popular belief, lactate is our friend, not our foe. Now, those taking part in Zwift Academy this year will be granted free access to Today's Plan, a cloud-based platform used by pro athletes and coaches to help you train more efficiently. I've got Coach Jesse Coyle from Today's Plan to talk us through exactly what it is. So for those that are taking part in ZA this year, how will they be able to utilize the features that today's plan offers?
So once you've signed up for Zwift Academy, on the main Zwift Academy Road page, you will see further down the bottom, there is a section where you can link in with today's plan. If you've already got a today's plan account, you can just connect with that, or you can also sign up for a new today's plan account. The main one that most people will be looking at is the Zwift Academy dashboard, and that's going to allow Zwift Academy users to compare their performance to other Zwift Academy users. So that's within their age category, within their weight category, and then also between male and female. So there's a whole dedicated Zwift Academy dashboard that a lot of Zwift Academy users from previous years really enjoy using. So that's probably the number one feature that's going to be most useful. So the other main one is the performance index. Performance index does a really good job of, it's just a visual representation of your performance at any one time. Each week you can come in, check your performance index, and see how that graph is changing over time. So you don't actually need to know anything about the individual metrics in the data fields to see your improvement in your performance index over time.
So are the athletes going to be tested to find this, or will they be using the baseline and finish line rides?
Yeah, exactly. So those baseline and finish line rides will do a really good job of adding more really useful data into the algorithm. The performance index doesn't look at just one activity at a time. It takes all the data from all the training you're doing recently, and it gives you a snapshot of your fitness.
Well, thanks for the time, Jesse, and thanks again for allowing us to use today's plan in ZA this year.
No problem. Thanks for having me on, Matt.
This year, we've challenged OJ and UCI rider agent Erica L. to document their journeys as they take on ZA for the very first time. They'll be making gains with you every step of the way, and you can watch the sweat droplets fall from OJ's face in Ultra HD if you choose. Let's see how they've got on week 2's workout.
Workout number 2 of the Zwift Academy Road 2021. Excited to do this because, you know what? I'm into it now. I've ripped the cellophane off, I'm ready to go. And this one's all about peak VO2 intervals, all about how much oxygen you can get into your body.
This type of structured plan is the same that pro riders do. So I'm just really stoked that I get the opportunity to train like a pro.
Oh, first interval down. Now into the longer second interval.
First set. Coach just said the opening effort opens your oxygen capacity. And it feels like it.
Second set of intervals. Let's go, Lieto. And you know what? The last interval is 15 seconds longer than before, so 1 minute 15. Wow. You feel it. You absolutely feel it. If you don't mind, I need this recovery.
60 seconds. I got it. You got it.
Third set done, which means I'm now halfway through with knowing that Erica's doing the same thing as me. Really, really is spurring me on.
I'm about halfway through. I just completed number 3 of 6 intervals. You got it, OJ.
I'll be honest, the fourth one, toughest one so far. But don't be scared of it, still got through it, do not be scared of it. My advice to you, keep your cadence up, keep your cadence as high as possible, otherwise you just start chasing it.
I'm going, coach, I'm going. He says keep going, I'm going.
Last set. You can do this, OJ. Erica, I know we're doing this together, here we go.
Whew. 6 sets of intervals, done, dusted.
That is done. Zwift Academy workout number 2 is done. 51 minutes 31 of work. Whoa, hard work but fulfilling, but a little other tip, don't ride the day before. Refresh before you do that. Woo! Erica, how's my favorite training partner?
Ooh, OJ, I'm hanging in here.
Good, because I feel like I was hanging in there as well. How did you find, let me ask you the question, because I was thinking of you while I was doing it. How did you find workout 2?
It was tough, but surprisingly, it was immediately rewarding after each interval.
Really? So, well, no, I get that, because I must admit I was holding on for grim life at the end. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I feel that rewardingness. Were you struggling to get through each of the intervals?
I was, but after each interval, OJ, I felt so much confidence and going into the next one, which transitioned over to having more confidence, on the platform itself. So getting closer to that Zwift race.
Well, that's what you said when we first chatted, whenever it was. You were like, I want to have the confidence. So you think by doing that second workout, you are more confident now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just hanging in there. Again, it felt like a surge, maybe like in a group ride. I've never done a Zwift race, but just hanging on at the top of the surge, and then slowly you're still putting out a lot of power, but not as much as that initial, that top of the power output you got. I'm not sure what to call it, wattage, but it was tough, but I hung in there. And at the end, I got to breathe a bit and was really just celebrating at the end of each interval, 6 of them total.
So Erica, if I can tell you something, I love having you as a training partner, because when it really got tough in that second workout, I thought of you doing the same thing and you getting through it, and that spurred me on.
Me too, OJ. I was thinking, you're suffering, OJ suffering too. So he's not going to let up. Don't you let up, because he's going to ask you about it.
Yeah, exactly that. The thing is that I knew we were going to have this chat, and I thought if I quit out, because if we're going to be honest, between you and I, okay, and we're being honest, no one else is listening right now. Uh-huh. I was very close to quitting on the 4th one. I don't know why. It just got to me after that 6-minute break. It really got to me, and I was like, I don't think I can do this. And then I thought of you. And I know you had done yours before me. And I was like, if she's done it, I've got to do it as well. Otherwise, I'll be letting the side down.
Not only OJ, I think about the other Zwift Academy students and hoping that they go get a training partner, because they get to see us and hopefully we can inspire them to go get training partners so they can suffer together, but also win at the end.
Erica, I love these chats. Till the next one.
Till the next one.
Zwift Academy is now in its 5th year, which means thousands of graduates have passed through the ranks already. Let's hear from one incredible Zwifter who took in last year's Academy. Caroline Kurlaus is our alumni member this week. The 31-year-old has completed Zwift Academy 3 times and used last year's program to bounce back from a nasty fall on Mont Ventoux.
I trained really hard to ride a sportif on the Ventoux, but like the day I did it, I crashed really hard in a descent. So it was like half a year of training and working really hard to be as good as possible. It went down the drain. But the fun part was that the Zwift Academy started about a month or 2 months after it, and it got me back in the flow, and it made me really happy. Just to be able to be cycling again and have a lot of fun with it again. When you complete the Zwift Academy, it's really a lovely feeling, because the rides are really hard sometimes. You have to dig deep, and it gives a real sense of accomplishment that you finished something which most of us do when we work, and we also have a lot of other things. So you took the time, you put the time into it, and you completed it.
And that's it from me, but I'll be back next week with more from OJ and Erica's Pain Caves. We'll have another interview with a fascinating expert guest, and we'll hear more stories from ZA participants past and present. There's still time to get signed up to ZA Road, so I suggest you do so now if you haven't already, and those that already have, leave me a comment below to let me know how you're getting on.
You can still sign up for this year's Zwift Academy Road. Check out the links below, and there's more on the baseline ride later on in the show. Sit tight and keep your eyes peeled as Shayne the Gaffer Gaffney is on hand for another workout of the week. But first, it's time to get alphabetical.
B is for baseline. If you want to know how far you've come, you got to know where you started, my friends. This is as true in training as it is in travel. And in the case of this year's Zwift Academy, so you know where you've started from, we've brought you the baseline ride. There are 2 options for the baseline ride, the standard and the advanced. The only thing that matters are the 3 segments. Their starts are marked out with dashed lines on the road. Go as hard as you can on each one, then in between, relax. and take it easy and save yourself for the next segment. Now remember, this is not a workout. Erg mode will not be on. I'll tell you how far into each ride you'll find the segments that matter. In the advanced ride, you'll find the first segment at 2.6 kilometers or 1.6 miles in. It's a 180-meter sprint on Wytopia Sprint Reverse. 11.9 kilometers or 7.5 miles in, and segment 2 will be on you. This one is 910-meter long climb at 4.3% on Titans Grove Reverse. The third segment can be found after 21.7 kilometers or 13.5 miles. It's the climb up the epic KOM Reverse. If you're going for the pro contract, then the advanced baseline ride is the one you need to do. The standard ride has its first segment at 4.1 kilometers or 2.5 miles. It's the short climb first for you guys, up Titans Grove Reverse. The sprint is segment 2 and comes at 16.5 kilometers, 10.2 miles into the ride. This one is Wytopia Sprint Forward and measures 350 meters long, starting just after the Italian Villas. Finally, the third segment can be found at 20.9 kilometers or 13 miles with a climb up the Volcano KOM. Whichever baseline you choose, you'll repeat the same exact ride again at the end of this year's ZA. This time, it will be called the Finish Line Ride. So, saddle up and see where you're at. Then set a goal and get after it with this year's Zwift Academy Road.
Last month, ZRL racer and owner of the best moustache in all of cycling, Ashton Lambie, set a new groundbreaking track cycling record for the 4-kilometre individual pursuit. He's officially the first person in history to break the 4-minute barrier with a time of 3 minutes, 59 seconds, 0.93. Now, previously, this was thought to be physiologically impossible. The 4-minute barrier has been likened to the 4-minute mile broken by distance runner Roger Bannister in 1954. And he joins us now. Ashton, first off, congratulations. What a moment it must have been when you realised you broke that 4-minute barrier.
It was. Thank you. I appreciate it.
What was that emotion like when you realised you'd done it?
I mean, it was funny because like if you watch the video, you know, I'm rolling across the finish line and there's like, you know, people are cheering with 1 lap to go, like there's a bell, everyone's losing it. And then like I cross the finish line and it's just like everyone's like holding their breath. And then the official gives a thumbs up and then people are like, oh yeah. And I was like, I don't know what that means. Like I should probably do a fist pump or something. And then like I rolled down to the bottom of the track and my partner Christina comes over and she's like, oh, dude, you did it. Like you did sub 4. And I was just like, oh, I mean, it was like, I was really excited. I was also like pretty relieved, you know, it was really hard to put that goal out there in such a big one. And to do it against the clock is also really difficult too. Mentally, it was tough.
It's a full-on race of truth. Did it help you that people are telling you it was an impossible target to beat?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, definitely there's a little bit of motivation there. I think I do pretty well with like a little bit more pressure and like feeling like I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage. But, you know, I was also fairly confident that I could do it.
It's a great achievement that you did it, but it's worth pointing out you had actually had a bit of a roller coaster ride to get to the successful attempt because you had failed one as well, hadn't you?
Yeah, I tried to do the 4K the day before and did not hit the goal because the first day I went out really hot and like my second K was, I saw like a 14.1, 13.9 maybe. And I was like, that's too fast. And that the problem is that then you lose more time than you gain at the end. So by the end, I was doing like, you know, 16.0s, which is, you know, then you're losing a second and a half in a lap. Like you're not going to get there. I rode a 4:02. So still like national record, personal best, you know, it was like most other people would be crazy stoked with a 4:02, but I was still just like, okay, I came down here for one thing and didn't get it.
Well, what makes this beautiful is the fact that you're not the only person really gunning for these amazing times in the 4K pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Filippo Ganna as well. Do you think this is now an arms race or a legs race to see who can go the fastest?
I feel like it has been, you know, which seems crazy. Like, that I'm lining up against Filippo Ganna, you know, like that he's such an accomplished cyclist. I mean, you know, like what am I doing in the same sentence with that guy? Like that guy's ridden Grand Tours, he's on a World Tour team, and I'm like training in a garage.
I've loved watching you race in the ZRL. How much training did you do on Zwift for this record attempt?
Holy all of it. Yeah. So a big part of my training for this attempt was working with my strength coach, Christelle Sega, at Athletic Strength Institute. And we've been doing this like middle distance training. So pretty much just anaerobic capacity, but also changing like work to rest ratios, as well as controlling the wattages. I was also doing almost all of it on my track bike on the trainer. So doing erg mode where I can control it by, you know, like 5 watts. So I did a ton of training on Zwift before, like pretty much all summer, 4 days a week.
So physically and also mentally knowing that you could hold these numbers, because these watts, because I saw it written down. Was it for the entire 4 minutes? Was it 600 watts you held average?
Oh God, no. Like maybe just between like 450 and 500.
Oh, is that all? God, Ashton, come on, just the 450 to 500.
Yeah. So, and that's the tricky thing too, is like part of, you know, people are like, that's not insane wattages,
wow,
but it is when you're like, you're folded up like a, you know, like a piece of paper.
Has anyone said to you, there's a fraction of a second to be found if maybe you trimmed down the mustache or lacquered it down or had some sort of aerodynamics?
Oh my God.
Has anyone said that to you?
Yeah, all the time. People say it and they're like, this is funny. Like, I'm the first person to make this joke. And I'm like, you're not, but I appreciate it. It is super funny. I mean, Unscientifically Specialized did it at their tunnel. They had a guy with like full beard, shaved it off, or shaved it down to like, you know, goatee or mustache or something, and there was no difference.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Are you looking forward to returning to racing in season 4? Will we see you back out there in the ZRL?
I don't know if I'll be able to, if I'll have the fitness to do that.
Really?
Hopefully. It's totally different. Like for me, I did a race the other day, and I think the average was like 4.5 watts per kg. And I was like, oh my God, like this was really hard. I also, you know, I put on extra, like more muscle mass, like my weight increases when I'm training just for track. So I'll probably be like 3 to 4 kilos heavier than I would be for like a roadblock or Zwift racing. Just because like you need that extra muscle to start that huge gear and for that torque.
You talk about that huge gear. Just talk us through, because we've all seen pictures of the bike. It's an outrageous ring you've got there.
Yeah. It was a 6415, so like 115 inch gear. It's pretty big. Yeah, it's bigger than my face. Yeah.
That's the future of track racing. A gear bigger than your face. That's the future of track racing.
Yeah, it is.
Ashton, thanks for your time, buddy. I look forward to the next record.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Feed Zone time, where we get to try out all those foods, sometimes suggested by you, that you can't eat outdoors, but you can eat indoors upon a turbo trainer. And this week's culinary delight is inspired by the Vuelta a España. I am salivating like Pavlov's dog because I present to you bocadillo con tortilla, or as I like to call it, carbs with a side helping of carbs. This Spanish starch fest has thick slices of tortilla francesca, which is potato omelette sandwiched between even thicker bocadillo bread. To accompany all these carbs, why not add some more carbs and caffeine? Here we have coffee bonbon. Now, caffeine is a recognized tool of the trade for cyclists, as it's a stimulant and therefore can make you feel sharper and more alert, combined with the sugar in the condensed milk for energy. To make Cafe Bonbon, you'll need equal parts espresso and sweetened condensed milk. And to emphasize the visual appeal of this fabulous drink, a glass is used so you can see the partition between the two ingredients. Look at it, isn't it beautiful? So I shall now, and I'm slightly worried to do this in front of you, try it, because even though that, I've had this before in Spain. It's so tasty. It's bread, which we all love, and it's omelette, which we all love. I mean, possibly I'd spray a load of tomato ketchup on it. So, while we're doing that, I'll have some coffee bonbon. Oh! Feed Zone heaven. Now, excuse me, I'm going to do something unspeakable to both of these things. This episode of World of Zwift wouldn't be complete if Shayne Gaffney didn't stop by and give us the lowdown on this week's workout of the week. Shayne?
This week's workout of the week is climbing power. This climbing-focused workout is inspired by New Zealand professional racing cyclist and 2018 Zwift Academy winner, Ella Harris, who currently rides for UCI Women's World Team Canyon SRAM. Ella says, "We break down the intervals into 10-minute blocks where we ride either just below our FTP at a moderate cadence or over our FTP for short durations of 1 minute at a low cadence when we increase the force to mimic steeper gradients when climbing." If you're looking for a bread and butter workout for any climber, look no further.
That's it, we are done. Finished, finito. By now, I hope you've had your fill of this week's World of Zwift. If you have any suggestions, what you'd like to see in the show, please drop them in the comments below. And you never know, you may see them in a future episode. Until next time, ride on.